seen all the different types of sentences, we shall go on with the transformation of sentences based on the types of sentences. And in that, the first one would be exclamatory to assertive and vice versa. Now, before we go on to the actual examples or the method, we will take a look at both the structures, that is the structure of an exclamatory sentence and an assertive sentence. Students, you've already seen that an exclamatory sentence will start with either what or how. Now, if it is what, then it is followed by an article, then we have the adjective, then we have the subject, the verb, and finally the exclamatory mark. Or we shall have how plus the adjective, then the subject and the verb, and the exclamatory mark. And the assertive sentence starts with the subject. Then we have the verb and, of course, the full stop. So that is the structure of exclamatory and assertive sentences. This becomes easy for us when we are changing from one to the other. Let's take examples. Exclamatory to assertive. Now, what a beautiful house it is. First and foremost, it is an exclamatory sentence. It is ending in exclamatory mark and starts with a what or how. Now we have to make it into assertive. And remember, students, assertive is subject plus verb first. Okay? So, the first step, remove the what or how. Okay? Next, what do? We start with the subject and the verb. So in the given sentence, your subject and verb has to be identified. There it is. It is the subject and is the verb. So we start with it is. Then we will now add an adverb. Students, exclamatory sentences show strong feelings. To maintain the strong feeling, we will add an adverb from the given choices there. Extremely, certainly, indeed, very. Any of those. Okay? Now, let's see. We will use very here. So, we have added an adverb. Of course, we will bring down the adjective as it is. And we will say it is a very beautiful house, ending with a full stop. So, the exclamatory mark changes into a full stop. Okay? Students, next one. Assertive to exclamatory. When the given sentence is assertive, here we know assertive means it starts with the subject and ends with a full stop. Whenever we have to transform an assertive sentence to an exclamatory sentence, follow these steps. Okay? Start the sentence with either a what or a how. Now, here let's start with how. Then remove the adverb which is already existing in that sentence, which in order to maintain the strong feelings of the sentence. So now when you change it to exclamatory, remove that adverb. Okay, so here very is removed. Then retain the adjective. Bring down the adjective there. So how beautiful. And finally add the subject and the verb, because in an exclamatory sentence the subject and verb go at the end, whereas in an assertive sentence they are in the beginning. So you will add the subject and the verb. So the house is the subject and is the verb. You are going to add it over there. So how beautiful the house is. And finally, remember your punctuation, students. Here you will add the exclamatory mark. The full stop will change into an exclamatory mark. So this is how you change from assertive to exclamatory. Students, let's now go on to another type of an exclamatory sentence. If only I were young again. See here, the if only structure. It is a little different and it ends with an exclamatory mark. In such a case, whenever you have such an exclamatory sentence, you will change it to assertive in the following manner, and you will say, I wish I were young again, and end it with a full stop. Remember, if only becomes I wish. Next, let's take the exercise. See the first one. She made the subjects very interesting. Now students, in this case, we know that the given sentence is an assertive sentence. We have to change it into exclamatory. Follow these very simple steps. Start the sentence with either a what or a how. So, I will start with how. So here, first write the how. Next, remove the adverb which is given in the sentence. Very interesting. So we remove the very. Now, retain the adjective. So, interesting is the adjective. Bring it down as it is. So, how interesting. Then we add the subject and the verb at the end. So, how interesting. She made the subjects. Of course, the subjects will remain as it is to complete the sentence. And finally, what are we going to do? We are going to add the exclamatory mark and complete the punctuation there. Let's take on another sentence. What a beautiful flower. Now here, first and foremost, the given sentence is exclamatory and we are going to change it into assertive. We know very importantly that assertive starts with the subject and the verb, but exclamatory ends with the subject and the verb, starts with a what or a how. Now when we are going to change from the exclamatory to assertive, let's follow these steps. Remove the what, okay, whatever is there, what or how. In this case it is what. Now, what do? We start the assertive sentence with the subject and the verb. Look at this. Flower is the subject, but there is no verb here. Here the verb is missing. That means it could be what a beautiful flower it is or what a beautiful flower it was. The sentence could be in any tense. Now we start with the subject. The flower. Of course, we have to add a verb here, was or is. The verb in this sentence can be present or past as the question does not indicate the tense. So we will say the flower was or is. Of course, we add an adverb. We can say extremely beautiful. We can say very beautiful. In this case, you're going to say indeed. It's just an example. We can take any of those. The flower was or is indeed beautiful is what we are going to add over there, and then we are going to add a full stop instead of an exclamatory mark. Let's go on to the next one. Lord Krishna's association with the peafowl is legendary. Students, it's a big sentence. Don't worry. First and foremost, it is assertive. We are going to change it into exclamatory, meaning we are going to start with a what or a how. In this case, how. Okay. Now, remove the adverb which shows strong feelings. Now, in this case, students, there is no adverb. So, it's okay. Fine. But we have to retain the adjective. Now, students, the adjective in this case is legendary. So, we will say how legendary. Then we add the subject and the verb. Now, in this case, Lord Krishna's association with the peafowl is the subject and is the verb. So, we will say how legendary Lord Krishna's association with the peafowl is. So, we end with the subject and the verb, and finally we add an exclamatory mark.